Hello everyone, welcome to my video lecture series on infinite series. The chapter of infinite series has been prescribed in the Gulbarga University syllabus for BSc second semester students. In this chapter, the students will discuss the series of positive terms and the series containing alternatively positive and negative terms known as alternating series. The main objective of our study in this chapter is to determine the nature of the given series. That is, we have to determine whether the given series is convergent or divergent or oscillatory. So let us begin with the introduction of the chapter. So first of all, let us define what is meant by the infinite series. Let an infinite sequence be given to us. Say for example, we have in hand the infinite sequence u1, u2, u3 dot dot dot. So this is the infinite sequence which we have already studied in the previous chapter. So it is also denoted by this notation. So this represents the infinite sequence. Now the sum of all the terms of the infinite sequence, that is u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus dot dot dot, that can also be represented as summation of the terms un, where n runs from 1 to up to infinity. Either it can be denoted like this or simply it can be denoted like summation un, and this summation, the summation of the terms of the infinite sequence, is known as the infinite series, or it is simply taken as the series. So this was the sequence, or particularly the infinite sequence, and the sum of all the terms of the sequence has been named as the infinite series or simply the series. Here this term is called as the nth term of the series. So un is called as the nth term of the given series. Now before going to discuss the convergence, divergence and oscillation of the given series, let us have some basic knowledge of what is meant by the sequence, what is meant by the function, and such basic definitions we shall consider now. So first let us consider the definition of what is meant by the function. If we are given with two sets, say A and B, so A and B are the two given sets, then a rule F which associates to each member X belonging to a unique member Y belonging to B through the rule F, then that rule is called as the function from A to B, or a mapping from A to B. So what is happening over here? For every x belonging to A, we are defining f of x. We are defining the image of x under f, and that is going to be an element of B, and that will be an element like y belonging to B. So here f of x is called the image of x, and x is called the pre-image of f of x under the function f. Now here the set A is called the domain and the set B is called as the codomain. If we consider the subset of B which contains only the image elements, then that subset of the codomain is called as the range of f of x. So this is how one can define the function from a set A to the set B. Now let us define an important thing, that is sequence. Particularly we shall directly move on to the sequence of real numbers. So sequence here means a function whose domain is the set of natural numbers. Function f, here sequence is a function f whose domain is the set of natural numbers and the codomain is some subset of the set of real numbers. So in general we shall take here R. So a function f from the set of natural numbers to the set of real numbers is called as the real sequence, or simply the sequence, or it is also called as the infinite sequence. So what is happening over here? In the set of natural numbers, we know that the elements are like 1, 2, 3, dot 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 up to infinity. So the counting numbers are there in the set of natural numbers. In the set of real numbers, we have all the positive integers, negative integers, irrational numbers. So that huge set is going to be the set of real numbers. We know this fact. Now here, if we have instead of taking f, it is convenient if we take u. So if we define u as the rule f here, under this rule the elements of n are associated with the set of real numbers, the elements of the set of real numbers, then how it is going to be associated? In the set of natural numbers, we are having the elements like n equal to 1, 2, 3, like that. So under u, the image of n will be denoted as either un, or it is more convenient here to denote it as u with subscript n, and that is going to be a real number, and that belongs to the set R, which is the range in this case in the definition of this function. So such a function u is called the sequence or real sequence or the infinite sequence. Now here the what is happening over here with the numbers 1, n equal to 1, 2, 3, we are going to associate the elements u1, u2, u3 and so on under the function u. So therefore we can say here that the sequence as an ordered set of real numbers. So it is very important word I'm using over here. It is an ordered set. The sequence is an ordered set of real numbers which are put in a 1-1 correspondence with the set of natural numbers. So the sequence is again a set, but it is having a distinction with the set. In the set, there is no restriction for the elements. The elements can appear anywhere, but in the sequence, the elements are ordered. That is, the elements, for example, in this sequence the elements will be u1, u2, u3 dot dot dot. They should be kept in the order. That is, u1 must be kept in the first place, u2 must be kept in the second place, u3 must be kept in the third place, and so on. And it should also be noted here that the mth element, for example, the mth element is um and the nth element is un. Here the element at the mth position is um and the element at the nth position is un. Even if they are equal, we treat them as the distinct elements in the sequence un, because the ordering is very important here. We don't consider the value what is there for um and what is there for un. We consider what is the element at the mth place and what is the element at the nth place. So the ordering of the elements is an important thing as far as the sequence is concerned. So if anybody asks what is the difference between the set and sequence, we have to tell that in the set the elements need not be placed in the order, whereas in the case of sequence the elements are orderly placed. So it is the ordered set of real numbers. So with this basic idea, let us move on to again our important concept of infinite series, or simply the series. So we are considering the series as the summation of the terms of the given infinite sequence. So with this definition, now we shall proceed further. We shall be going to define the partial sum. So how to define the partial sum? So if at all we want to have the second partial sum, so the given, we will be given with a series, we will be given with a series summation of un. With this series in hand, now let us define the partial sums. Say for example, the first partial sum. First partial sum First partial sum is the first element u1 itself. The second partial sum is the sum of u1 and u2. That is the sum of first two elements that corresponds to the second partial sum. The third partial sum is the sum of the first three elements u1, u2 and u3. So the first three elements of the series if we consider, then that forms the third partial sum. In general, the kth partial sum if we define, the kth partial sum is the sum of first k terms of the given series. So it is to be taken up to uk, or we can denote it as summation of ui, where I runs from 1 to k, that is. Let us denote the first partial sum as S1, the second partial sum as S2, the third partial sum as S3, and in general the kth partial sum as Sk. So we are having the different partial sums here. Now let us let us move on to construct the sequence of partial sums. So we shall now consider the sequence of partial sums that is going to play an important role in deciding whether the given series is convergent or divergent or oscillatory. So we are going to form the sequence of partial sums. So what actually it is? It is, as we have defined the sequence, it is to be taken in the similar way, that is the sequence containing the elements like S1 the first partial sum, S2 the second partial sum, S3 the third partial sum, dot 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 Sk the kth partial sum, comma dot dot dot. In general we can denote it as the sequence Sn of the partial sums. So sequence of partial sums is Sn. Now depending upon the nature of the sequence of partial sums corresponding to the given series, we can say that the given series is convergent. The given series, this is an important definition I am going to give you now here. The given series summation un is, so it can behave in three different ways. So the first thing is that the given series can be convergent. So it is convergent, the given series is convergent if and only if the sequence of partial sums is convergent. If the sequence Sn, so what is the sequence Sn? It is the sequence of partial sums is convergent. So when the sequence of partial sums is convergent, we say that the given series is convergent. So now we have the condition, we have the definition of convergence of the sequence. The sequence Sn is said to be convergent if the limit of the nth term of the sequence as n tending towards infinity is finite and unique. So in that case we say that the sequence Sn of partial sums is convergent. So the given series is convergent if the sequence of partial sums Sn is convergent. That is, if the limit of Sn as n tending towards infinity is finite and unique. On the other hand, the second definition I am going to give you, summation un, the series summation un is divergent if the sequence summation un if the sequence of n partial sums we are going to consider, that is Sn, is divergent. So when will we say that the sequence is divergent? That is when the limit of the nth term Sn of the sequence as n tending towards infinity is not finite. If it is infinite, we say that the sequence is divergent. When the sequence of partial sums is divergent, we say that the given series is divergent. And the third condition is the oscillatory behavior of the series un. Series un is oscillatory if the sequence Sn is oscillatory. So when we say that the sequence is oscillatory when the limit, that is the limit of Sn as n tending towards infinity is not unique, either finite or infinite. If it is finite and not unique, then we say that the series oscillates finitely. If it is infinite and not unique, we say that the series oscillates infinitely. So this is all about the nature of the given infinite series. With this, let me stop. We shall continue with the further results on convergence in the next video. Thank you very much.